So hello, this is the quarterly video migration meeting, and I'm Benji Fisher. And want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Quiet One.
Okay. And I guess there are other maintainers, but it looks like they might not be showing up today. So I think the important thing that we have to discuss is deprecating and then removing migrate Drupal, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think the plan is laid out though. We're just waiting on official approval in the ideas queue,
Oh, are we
which I
still
was looking at. Pardon me?
are we still waiting for approval?
It's RTBC, but the sign-offs haven't happened, which is
Okay.
mildly annoying, but there is people are focusing on getting D11 out the door. Yeah. So this
Naturally.
isn't highest priority. And why
Well,
can't I find the issue? I'm just having a there we go.
here. So I think this is the issue you're talking about, a policy issue in the issues in the ideas queue. Migrate Drupal and migrate Drupal UI after Drupal 7 end of life. Um, Proposed resolution. Da, da,
So
da,
the
da.
big takeaway from that though is that the work in core is not going to be moving it to a contrib project. If the community wants to have it in contrib, they're going to need to do it themselves.
Right. So I guess the bulleted list, migrate Drupal will be deprecated in the minor release. The UI module as well. Move various things into the core migrate module. Deprecate without replacement the Drupal 6 and Drupal 7 sources and the
Yeah,
field plugins. Um, okay, so this is, as you said, RTBC. Um,
we've got project manager approval.
right. So I think um, it's reasonable to think about the next steps without waiting for this to be finalized. I guess that was over a month ago. Um, I guess we can also try to remind them that that final approval was
I am. I'm slowly doing that in the committer Slack channels.
okay.
But
Great.
we could do the need subsystem maintainer review because we all agreed to it.
Um, yeah,
One of
shall I
us
do?
could one of us could comment and take that off.
Okay. Um,
I'm waiting on one release manager, and honestly, I have forgotten to ping the framework managers, but I will. So as soon as that approval happens, I intend to do the admin on the issues and close things and such. Just I don't want to be seen as being premature.
okay. So the last time we talked, it was sort of a technical question. If we deprecate the base classes in migrate Drupal, is that enough, or do we also have to deprecate all of their descendant classes in the other modules?
I don't know if Ketch has responded on the issue. That's a good point. He agrees to do that. And no, he asked if we agreed that that's a good plan. And then I asked you guys, the other members of the other migrate maintainers, and you all said yes, that it should work. So
So
we have approval, but I don't think it's documented. Just as I say that, I realize the whole base class thing, I think it's undocumented. So I'll make a note to see if I can find those Slack discussions.
Okay.
Base
Um,
definitions.
and
Because it was really,
then
I think, the source plugins, because there's so many of those. I think it was. But anyway, but I'll make a note. Base definition. Needs document. All right. And then that'll be pretty straightforward to do. Although we have to think carefully about the destination plugins, that's all. I think they're the only ones.
um, yeah, where were we discussing that? That's not on.
Yeah, I think it was in our private ma migrate maintainer Slack as well as in committer Slack for me. Yeah, I think it's there. Oops. I said I would like to avoid deprecating oodles of migrate plugins. Can we make an argument that deprecation is not needed? Uh, and then Mike wanted to talk about it in the video call that I missed.
And I said I would do an audit of the various descendant classes, the classes that extend basically Drupal SQL base, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, that one. Yeah.
I did that audit. I'm not sure where I left those comments, whether it was only in Slack or whether I also commented on an issue. And you were going to check with the core committers. I guess that's what you're waiting for an answer for from Catch, whether
Oh,
we need to go ahead.
Catch said that if we Catch said, yeah, it's a good idea, but he wanted to make sure we agreed to it as a group.
Okay.
So I don't think that's the problem. The problem is, where did we record these conversations? Can you hear my clacky keyboard?
I can. So the issue I'm looking at now, tasks to deprecate and migrate Drupal, actually looks like it's out of date because it's talking about creating the contrib project.
Oh yeah, that's old. Yep, all that stuff is old. I wouldn't, and I'm thinking it's so old I should just delete that one and start it. Not delete, close that one and start afresh.
Yeah.
But I haven't decided that. I glanced at it last night and I thought, oh, tech really, there's a bit of history there, so maybe just leave it and update it.
Let's see if we can find the issue where I think I did leave some comments. So I want the migration system.
I didn't see
And
it. Oh, I found something.
it's already sorted by last updated. So I'm sure it was less than 4 months ago. So, all right, maybe I never
Okay.
commented on an issue for that.
Okay. I found a week note, a week discussion where Catch was that we discussed in the migrate meeting about, and you asked if deprecating the base class would be sufficient. And Catch said he thinks the reporting would work. The only thing missing would be if someone opened up the file on the API site and it doesn't have deprecated on it. So if you looked at a subclass on the API site, it wouldn't say deprecated because it'd be on the base class. But also says that plugins are supposed to be internal anyway, so and plus on top of that, we're deprecating the whole module. So, I mean, how many places do you have to say you're deprecating?
So I think that at this point we need an implementation issue to start doing it.
Okay. Yeah, all right. I'll do some admin then on all the issues. Sorry, I'm looking at the cat who's doing strange things. And we have an unusual cat too, so it's extra special.
Oh, I have two cats in here with me, but they're just napping on the day bed.
Yeah. She's it's taken her a long time to let you pet her. But she's finally doing it now in her old age. But she'll meow and meow and meow for you to come pet her, and as soon as you go over to do it, she runs away. You have to sit by her, one of the boxes that we had, a cardboard box. We leave them around for a while, and scratch the box until she decides to come over and get in the box, and then you can pet her.
Yeah, cats have their own ideas how things are
I
supposed
just,
to work.
oh, I'm sorry, I'm digressing from the meeting. Sorry, folks. But it's for a cat. You're supposed to do that on the internet, aren't you? All right. So some issue. I'll do the issue admin a little because we know this is going to happen. It's true. I'm just being extra cautious on the process. And we would like to get that done for 11/1, so we've got 6 months. The earlier we let people know, the better, I think.
Sure. And then we start working on a merge request that does what? Adds the deprecation to the module, starts moving source plugins, the few that we're going to keep, start getting moved into the migrate module.
Oh yeah. Are there source plugins to keep?
Just a couple. The
Which ones?
content
Is
entity.
that is that
That's
in
an
Migrate Drupal?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
and
Oh, fudge.
and maybe there's one for config
Yeah, they're probably
entities
on.
source, something like that.
Okay. All right. I'll find that out when I do the issue admin and start laying things out. Oh goodness, excuse me. That's an interesting question. Do we have to have all the deprecations done first before we deprecate the module?
I don't think so. And I think we just
Oh, it would be odd to have a module deprecated, but the stuff inside not deprecated. But that happens all the time anyway, doesn't it? Yeah, yeah, that's what we do. Oh, so that's going to be the main bit of work, like priority work. But is there anything else we want to do? Any bugs we want to fix or anything?
um
Any high priority stuff outside the whole deprecation work?
right. Um as, as far as I'm concerned, the interesting things that we should be doing to improve people's everyday migration tasks are all in the
Yep.
Migrate Plus module. There
Okay.
are a couple of process plugins that I've proposed that
Hmm.
I think would help. And there's uh, the JSON source, something based on a proper JSON parser
Yeah,
that
that never got finished in core, did it? It got stalled with the whole adding a dependency, I think.
I think you're thinking of JSON API, which did get stalled, but I'm thinking of just JSON. There's some library that does a JSON version of XPath that just makes a whole lot of sense to provide as a source plugin.
This is in Migrate Plus.
Yes. Oh, look,
Oh, trying not to use my clacky. JSON API data parser.
that sounds right.
Where's the patch? Is it gonna? Oh, it doesn't. It's still in patch state, isn't it?
Oh my, someone just updated a whole bunch of issues. Let's just look at one of them and see who it was that updated it. Was it Lucas? Yes.
Lucas, yes.
It looks as though Lucas has been busy today. Um, but search for JSON XPath style filtering ability in JSON data parser plugin. Is that what you said?
Uh,
Is that the issue you looked at?
this one is just JSON API data parser. So there's another one. Okay. There's parsing JSON arrays. Oh, add XPath style filtering. That's the. I should look at the top of the list. Jeez. Oh,
Yeah, the JSON API data parser is the one that got stalled, which I will take the blame for. Um,
anyway, but this would be nice to have in. I'm sure it's useful.
but then there are a couple of oh, so there's this one that I added recently. It's a new process plugin that builds an array from source, destination, and pipeline. Um, and the thing is, a while ago, we added the ability for the callback plugin
Hmm.
to um, to accept an array of inputs. So you could have, the string replace. We currently have a dedicated string replace plugin that either does string replace or preg replace, depending on some option you set. But you could also implement that with the callback plugin if you could just give it one, the string to act on, and two, the search string, and three, the replace string as three separate arguments. So you can now provide those three arguments as elements of an array, but then what we lack is a process plugin that makes it easy to create that input of an array with three elements, and this plugin does that. So I give some examples of how it would work. The,
Okay. Yeah, I haven't looked at this queue in a long time. But what you're saying to me is that the core migrate is doesn't need a lot of tweaking. That it's pretty reliable.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I mean, I'm sure there are people who would disagree and have their pet issues that they wish we would plug away on. Um,
There's always that, yes.
but I think that what we could do to improve the developer experience is a few of these issues in Migrate Plus.
Okay. Excuse
And
me.
and the other one is this, which has been around for a long time, um, which I mean, I
Oh,
guess
that
the general idea is that we should have some way of reusing process pipelines. And the current proposal is one that I came up with, which is a pipeline process plugin. Um, and basically, you just create some directory um, inside the migrations directory
one.
that's used for little YAML snippets, each one of which can be used as a process plugin.
Ah, that does sound handy. Some of that stuff is quite repetitive, isn't it?
Oh yeah. And
Hmm.
now that I guess Migrate, not Migrate Plus, but Migrate Tools
Hmm.
um, has a way to reuse configuration that's not tied to migration groups. This is less useful than it used to be, but there are still cases um, where this can do things that the reusable configuration does not do conveniently. So like if you have some clever pipeline and you want to apply it to different source fields in different plugins, or if you're using it for different field destinations, like you have not only the body field, but you have three other text fields on various content types where you want to apply some particular process pipeline, then this is still useful. So so those are my candidates. Those
Okay.
three issues in Migrate Plus that are things that I think would help improve the system the most.
To make sure I get the right three issues, could you put them in the chat channel? Oh no, put them in Slack somewhere,
Sure.
just to make sure I don't get confused later. I spent some time last night looking at the migrate queue, just high level triage, and I tagged everything that's D67 so it's easier to find later, which is quite nice. But that means that, oh, hang on, I have to fix my search here. I also wanted to find out how many issues were left related to just migrate itself. That was kind of the goal. So there's about 259 issues. There is 259 issues against migrate itself. That should exclude migrate Drupal and migrate Drupal UI, if my tags are correct. So that's the majority of issues in the queue, which is just interesting statistical information.
Right. So a total of 346 open issues.
And
And and if you exclude the ones that you tagged as D67 related,
if you exclude, that's right. If you exclude migrate Drupal world, you have 259 left.
okay. So more than 2/3
Yeah, so that's why I
open
was
issues.
asking if there's anything there that's really would be really helpful to finish. keep thinking it'd be really nice to fix them, to work on the migration lookup plugins, but it just seems like such a slog at the same time. You know, a multi-step process, I should say. That's all. I don't think any of them are marked as critical either, are they? Let's see. That's a check.
Yeah, there are no critical issues in for
22
migration.
major ones. But I didn't triage them to see if they're really major or not. I didn't do that. I was just curious about how many were migrate, you know, the division of migrate, Drupal, and migrate.
Right.
Oh, the memory one is still there about file migration. Mm.
All right. Well, shall we call that a meeting?
I think so.